Hey there, thanks for tuning in to another video. Today, I want to talk about type 1 diabetes symptoms and misconceptions. So let's jump right into it. Type 1 diabetes is always changing and different for each person. And even individually, people have different symptoms for the same feelings. For example, someone could be low and have a BGL of 3.5. And feel shaky, sweaty, lightheaded, and even hungry. And 2 days later, have the same BGL of 3.5 and have total different symptoms, or even sometimes no symptoms at all. Having devices to assist with knowing your BGL immensely helps, as it connects the feeling or symptom at the time with what number you actually are, without needing to do a finger prick and test yourself. Though it can be useful when the devices are not working properly. When high, for example, you have a BGL of 20, symptoms could be feeling very thirsty, blurry vision, frequent need to go to the toilet. Some other severe symptoms of having frequent high BGLs or being high for extended time can include DKA, which stands for Diabetic ketoacidosis. Symptoms of this can include having abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, rapid breathing, confusion, and over time, frequent high BGLs can cause unexplained weight loss, and the prior mentioned symptoms at a more severe level. When a type 1 diabetic has a low BGL and it isn't treated, it can cause severe hypoglycemia. This can cause a person to lose consciousness and not given a form of glucagon. Worse things can happen. Glucagon is prescribed by a doctor, usually a GP or endocrinologist, and it's always needed to be with the person in case of an emergency low BGL. Though, treating lows prior to this happening with, for example, fast-acting glucose, jelly beans, or juice prevents the super low or severe hypoglycemia to occur. There are a lot of misconceptions about type 1 diabetes, and I believe they have to be stopped and talked about so that people know the truth and have some understanding about some things they might not know. Firstly, cinnamon cures type 1 diabetes. This one annoys me a lot because even though cinnamon can possibly have the effect of stabilizing some people's blood sugar, similar to avocado, it most definitely is not and will never be a cure for type 1 diabetes. Next one is, can't have sugar or that sugar causes type 1 diabetes. Again, a misconception. As type 1 diabetics, we can eat as much or as little as we want. We are all human and sugar is amazing, in chocolate form especially. But eating too much sugar does not cause anyone to be type 1 diabetic. The only difference between those who are type 1 diabetic and those who have a working pancreas with eating anything is that we as type 1 diabetics have to give insulin for what we eat. Third on the list is lifestyle changes can get rid of it. That is 100% no, false, and a big misconception. Lifestyle changes, like anyone, can help your daily living with health and that sort of thing, but it does not change whether we are type 1 diabetics or not. The next one is that people with type 1 diabetes always know when they are low or high. Sometimes, yes, we do feel different depending on our BGL, and sometimes we feel our high symptoms when we are at a somewhat normal number, and other times we feel the low symptoms and are actually high. Type 1 diabetes is challenging and honestly stupid. But as a type 1 diabetic, I do not always feel my lows or highs. But with devices like a Dexcom, the little one on my arm there, which is a continuous glucose monitor, it helps to know what our BGL is compared to how we are feeling. Moving on to a different topic regarding symptoms. You can sometimes feel a certain way, say like you're low and your Dexcom says like 10. You might be like, that's weird. It's something called pre-symptoms. Sometimes, usually after something like intense exercise, you might get a random period of drops in your BGL as your body is still getting back to working how it normally would without the effects of the intense exercise. So, staying on top of your BGLs up until even the next day can be challenging because no matter what you eat or bolus insulin for, you'll probably experience unusual lows for foods or amounts of insulin that you normally wouldn't. Back to misconceptions. Type 1 diabetics can't play sport or exercise. Just a short answer to this. We can. The only main difference between someone who is type 1 diabetic and not is we have to monitor our BGL and treat for lows or highs. The last misconception of this video is type 1 diabetes is the same as type 2 diabetes. Another short answer to this one. Type 2 diabetes is, for the majority, lifestyle and diet based, whereas type 1 diabetes is because our pancreas stopped working properly and doesn't produce insulin anymore, which is a very important requirement for our body to work and for humans in general to live. Alrighty, that's it for today's episode. I hope you liked it and found it educational or good enough to send on to a friend. If you have other misconceptions that you'd like to share, put them down in the comments section so that others can learn new things or share some of their own. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.